Right. This is
Oh,
wow, Deval. This is a crazy journey that we've been on. And listen, before we
mate.
get into the show, listen, look, folks. Before we get into the show, just want to say, look, this is our first episode of 2022, 2nd of January, and
Mm,
it's been a crazy 2021. There's been
yeah,
ups and downs and stuff. But first
sure.
of all, my big shout is I got to say, Deval. I
Mm.
got to shout you out, man. This is
Oh my
we.
gosh, just shouting
Trust me,
out
man.
me. Damn.
Major shout out to Deval, who's been obviously doing this with me, who's been putting in the hours, putting in the editing hours, those videos, Deval, which I know those
YouTube
videos that
videos.
you're putting on YouTube videos, man, they're not easy to do. Trust me.
No.
So listen, thanks
Oh my
for being
gosh.
there with me on this one. We've been having a good time doing this, and every week what the
It's
great thing is,
2018. Shit.
just since anything. What I love is every single week I basically get to have a catch up with you, and we not only do
Yeah.
we talk about movies, we talk about other shit as well before we start and after we start and
We've
everything like
just
that.
spent 45 minutes, guys, talking about crypto. Like literally, the
Trust
show could
me.
have finished by now, but we spent 45 minutes talking about crypto and all kinds
Oh
of stuff,
man,
life.
all
And you're
kinds of
right.
stuff,
And I've got to
man.
actually
Seriously,
bounce back the shout out to you as well. Since
cheers, man.
2018, we had an idea to do this. We didn't know how long we were going to do it for, if it was going to work. We said,
Yeah.
you know what? Let's stop talking about it. Do it. We press record. I think on the 18th of May
Yes.
in 2018, and we've been going ever since. Now it's 2022, and yeah, just same as you. I know you put in a lot of work with making the episodes every week. You do your blurb, you write you write about it and stuff, and you post it.
Yeah,
Takes
man.
a bit of work, So yeah, big shout out to you as well, and
Cheers,
long
man.
may it
Cheers.
continue. That's
Appreciate
all I'm
it.
going to say. Long may it
That's it.
continue, man.
That is it. So listen, look, we're
Mm,
going to get into the episode. This is episode 171, the
mm,
first of many more. And yeah, so look, Deval, look, folks, if you haven't listened to the show before, usually we do kind of like some big shout outs and then we get into kind of movie
yeah,
news and then we speak about trailers and streaming and film reviews. But this episode, the first of 2022, it's a bit different. We're going to try and wrap it all up within about 35, 40 minutes or whatever.
yeah,
We're going to kind of give you a rundown of some of the highlights, the TV highlights, the movie highlights, and things like that. But before we do any of that, we've got some shout outs. We always do
yeah.
shout outs, and Deval and I are grateful that people have been listening to the show, supporting us. So yeah, Deval, man, who we shouting out?
Yes, shout outs this week. First one goes out to one of our biggest supporters. That's Zakroff. Zakroff's birthday was just a couple of days ago. So happy birthday to
Happy
you,
birthday, Zakharov.
Zakroff, and also happy New Year. I know he's been listening to the show since 2019, I think it was, or
Yeah,
2020, I should say. And he loves the show. The show helps him to just relax and obviously listen to our reviews and all our craziness. And he's always got some hidden gems for us. So thank you very much, Zakharov.
yeah.
Second shout out goes out to Tia Becker.
Mm.
So Tia Becker is a very influential Instagram personality. You can go and check out her page, Tia Becker. So that's Tia underscore Becker underscore. Go check out her page. She also really likes crypto as well. So if you want to find out a bit more about crypto and see what people are doing, you can check out her page as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, couple of shout outs, but also happy new year to everyone, all our Flixters. We thank you so much for all the support over the past few years, and we hope to see you tuned in over the next few years also. And just to say a massive thank you, we are going to still give out our prize, which is a Disney Plus subscription up until the 30th of April 2022. All you got to do is write us a really quick review, post it, let us know about it, and we will send you that voucher code for Disney Plus. So there you go.
Get on it, do
Simple as
it,
that.
and thank you. All right, okay. So we've got kind of like a few snippets of information. The reason why I put this one up on there, Deval, is because I just kind of found it really funny. So listen, look, Dwayne the Rock Johnson,
Mm,
mega huge star. Okay, no denying that. And obviously he was big even before his acting, like obviously because of wrestling and everything. But obviously Fast and Furious, kind of put him in the stratosphere and everything. And this, and maybe our listeners don't, but they've had this feud. So Dwayne the Rock Johnson and Vin Diesel happened kind of like in 2017. They kind of
yeah.
fell out over something really silly, and recently Vin Diesel was like, "Hey brother, hey my little brother, come back to the franchise. This is your
Hmm.
destiny." Well, listen, look, the news here is that apparently he was being interviewed on CNN. I've still got. I tried finding the interview. I couldn't find it, but here's what the rumor is. A lot of people are reporting this. He's turned around and he's turned around and said, "No chance. There's no
No chance.
way. No
That's
chance.
what.
There's no way that he will come back to the franchise." And he kind of, if kind of like the interview's correct and everything, and if it really is out there, he's turned around and he said that Vin Diesel's being manipulative. He's manipulating the
Mm-mm.
situation and making it look
Mm-mm.
like as if there's maybe it's the problem, the issues with The Rock is what he's basically trying
Okay.
to get at. But he's turned
Yeah.
around, he spoke to Vin Diesel and he said, "Look, there's no chance that I'm going to be joining the franchise," which is a shame, man, because it's
Mm-mm.
his destiny.
Damn, that's real beef, real beef.
He's turned man, listen, his payday for that would have been like what, 20, 30 million?
Mate, I would do whatever for that 20, 30 million. I will work with anybody. Yeah?
Like,
Bury that beef.
seriously. Unless The Rock is so clever, he knows that something like
Mm.
this is going to kind of maybe push the price up. Like, come on, like, creating
Oh,
a bit
yeah,
more
yeah,
tension.
true.
And then before you know it, man, it's crazy. Anything can happen. But listen, go check that one out. If you can find the interview, send me the link because
Crazy.
I want to see it properly. But apparently, he'd been interviewed on CNN and that's what he said. All right, the other news, I just want to mention this: Spider Man No Way Home, Deval, has broken Sony's record. It is the most successful Sony movie ever. It's I think it's hit a worldwide. This is worldwide, by the way. Worldwide
Damn.
box office, uh, 1.2 billion.
1.2 billion. This is during like COVID times.
You
So for
said
them
it.
to do that, imagine if COVID times weren't an issue. That would be a lot more. Seriously, that would be a lot more.
Huge, huge. And this
Shit.
just goes to show you, right? So, like you mentioned this last week, Sony aren't about to give up the cash cow
Mm,
that is Spider
mm,
Man.
mm,
If
mm.
it's going to bring in 1.2 billion, then yeah, man, every couple of years they can bring in a Spider Man movie.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Wow, that is
So,
wicked. Tom Holland's going to
exactly.
get a nice bonus. I hope so anyway.
Trust me, I'm telling you, his payday will go up to maybe
Mm,
15 mil and
mm.
percentage of the next movie, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He should sign that deal. Yeah.
Do it,
Nothing up
Tom.
front. Get a percentage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. So there's
Yeah.
that going on. Um, but yeah, man. Oh, and the other news, and we kind of spoke about it on our WhatsApp group and everything. I didn't put it on there, but yeah, man. Golden Girls, Betty. What was her name again? Betty Davis.
Yeah. But yeah. No, but is it Betty White? Oh, we should
Sorry,
really
Betty
know
White.
this.
Betty White.
Betty White.
Sorry,
Yeah, Betty White. Betty White. Yeah, man. That's oh my gosh. But she was. You know what? I remember her from Golden Girls,
Golden Girls.
and also from. I know it's quite obscure, but My Wife and Kids, the
Mm,
Damon Wayans TV show. She was in one episode or two episodes of that where she pretended to be like the best nanny in the world. Oh, she's funny, man. That was a
yeah,
wicked
man.
episode.
I know.
Wicked
I know.
episode. But yeah, nah, she's
Two
what's
weeks.
it? 99 years old, isn't it?
2 weeks shy of 100.
Oh my gosh.
2 weeks shy.
Oh,
And like,
mate.
there's been an outpour on the internet. Ryan Reynolds, he put something on his Twitter,
Mm,
and like loads of actors, they kind of like, got in touch and said that. But yeah, listen, look, rest in peace, Betty White. This year's, 2021 was crazy. We've seen so many people obviously go.
mm,
But yeah,
mm,
so sad news. But as they say, the show must go on.
yeah,
So listen, we're going to kick this off with 2021 TV highlights. Now, Deval, this for me, this year, well, 2021 was crazy. Obviously, everyone's dealing with the pandemic, but
yeah.
there were just so many shows
There was a
that
lot.
people were talking about. Like, we've watched so many hours. We've watched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of
Yeah.
content in 2021, and I still feel like as if we didn't scratch the surface.
Mm-mm. There's a lot going on there. And you know what? We can't cover it all. That's why we
No,
need you Flixters to help us spread the net over the
trust me.
worldwide, TV shows, streaming services. There's so many services anyway. There's Disney Plus, there's Netflix, there's Amazon, there's Hulu, there's oh my gosh, there's a lot. There's Rakuten, there's all
There's
sorts, and we
Paramount now.
cannot Paramount exactly. So help us. That is your job.
Let us
Help
know. All right,
us.
listen, look, let's get into first up, let's get into the Disney Plus shows.
Yeah.
So, Deval, I mean, can you think back now to kind of some of the
Yeah.
highlights for you?
Highlights. Okay, so obviously it started off this time last year, pretty much. It started off with One Division.
Yeah,
We got, to see Maximoff, see Vision after the events of Endgame. And there's a lot that happened, in that show. A show about loss, about mental health, about coping mechanisms, about people with great powers having great responsibility, but not really, making the most of that responsibility, and actually exhibiting human emotions with great powers, which can be a really dangerous mix. So that was the first major Disney Plus Marvel show. So yeah,
yeah,
that really kicked the year off. And then we had obviously Falcon and Winter Soldier came
yeah.
from that. We had Loki, What If. What am I
Yes.
missing? I'm missing one more, aren't I? What do we have?
Um,
What was the most recent one?
Hawkeye. We've had
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Sorry, yeah, Hawkeye.
Yeah,
Exactly. So we're gonna have obviously this year we're gonna have quite a lot coming out as well. But obviously we're talking about last year. But for me, I think Disney Plus really put themselves on the map because they've got
yeah,
big competition with Netflix, who are the world leader. Amazon had already come out before. So Disney Plus had to do a lot, had to really have a unique selling point, which is their Marvel IP, which they
yeah.
utilize really well. So for me, yeah, I think Disney Plus last year done well. They really made, they actually made it worthwhile having that subscription. You
Yes,
got your money back, So
absolutely.
yeah,
And it's but yeah, exactly. And we'll come on to this, but if you compare it to someone like or something like Apple, like I
mm,
had that for a year, man. I had that for a year, but it was free. It was
yeah,
free.
yeah,
And listen, I'm not saying that they don't have any good shows on there, but there
mm,
was nothing that made me think, oh, I have to pay a
yeah,
subscription to watch
yeah.
their
I know what you
like
mean?
shows. But with
Yeah,
Disney Plus, it's kind of like you got to
you
have
felt you
Disney
were missing
Plus.
out, isn't it? You felt you were missing out if you didn't have it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the feeling to get. Yeah, FOMO.
exactly. Well, exactly. And not only that, then they've bought Fox. So they've got all the Fox
Mm,
movies,
mm,
they've got
mm.
Pixar, they've got
Walking
Star
Dead and all
Wars,
that.
they've got all
Mm,
those sort of stuff, right? So that's brilliant. But listen, I just want to echo what you said. So for me, the highlights of the Disney Plus shows were definitely Loki and WandaVision. Great shows. And I
mm,
really wasn't expecting to like WandaVision. But
mm,
I mean, yeah, it was just kind of like a really well written, great show, different side to WandaVision, that emotion. And Loki, oh man,
mm,
I really thought they couldn't pull off two, like, I thought maybe we're just going to get one good show out there, but they pulled off
mm.
two great shows. And
Yeah.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a decent show,
Mm,
and Hawkeye, all right,
mm.
you, Hawkeye's Hawkeye. We know
Yeah.
that. So we'll see kind of what happens. But I thought Disney Plus
Yeah.
is really good. They did really well. And there's more to come. Now let's talk about the other shows, the other kind of highlights.
Yeah.
Invincible, man. Let's speak about this.
Invincible.
Invincible was
Yeah. That
great.
one. A friend of mine's read the comics. He said the comics are life changing. He said they're really, really good. I had no idea what Invincible was until we got it. Obviously, the cast we mentioned just briefly a moment ago. Walking Dead. Robert Kirkman's involved in the Invincibles, the comics as well. The cast. We had what's his name, Glenn from The Walking Dead. We had
Yes.
Zazie Beats.
Stephen,
We had what's his name, J. Jonah Jameson is
yes,
involved. We
as
had
Omni Man.
exactly as Omni Man. We had Sandra Oh from Killing Eve and all kinds of other TV shows. This animation is literally I've not heard of another animation that has been lifted from the comic books and put on the screen in such an accurate way as this one.
Yeah.
This one literally is the comics brought to life.
Brilliant.
And this for me was one of the highlights
Yes.
of 2021. So good. If you haven't seen
Absolutely.
it, go to Amazon. This one makes Amazon worth
Yes.
its weight in gold. Because with that, don't forget, you also get the next day delivery free.
It's
So,
true. It's true.
oh my gosh,
It's
that
true.
hiccup. So you
And
get
also the
so much
boys.
for your money. And the
Listen,
boys,
look,
oh
the
shit.
boys. That's essential viewing, guys. Like seriously, and look, this isn't just a couple of like comic book like geeks talking about this. This is like,
Mm,
this is essential viewing. Seriously, like even if you're not comic book fans, there's something in Invincible and something in
yeah,
the boys where there's it's kind of like deeper than just oh yeah, just a bunch of superheroes and stuff. But
yeah, yeah.
Invincible, it's bloody. It's kind of like
Mm,
emotional, obviously heartfelt anger, this kind of love, all that sort of stuff in there. And
mm,
it's an animation. Like I wasn't expecting it to be so good, and I didn't expect to like it so well. But that is definitely a highlight for me. The other one that I want to speak about, Deval, you've seen this, I've seen it. It's on Apple Plus. Now, I already mentioned Apple
mm,
Plus isn't essential viewing, but this show was actually really good. It's called Calls. And the
mm.
reason why I put this on there, Deval, is because for me, there's nothing on TV that was like this because
Nothing.
the the premise is like it's like 6 episodes, or no, yeah, 6 to 8 episodes if I can remember correctly, and each episode is basically just the voices
Yes, it
of
is.
actors
On their
doing a
phone.
story on the phone. Trust me, it's like how does that even work? Like even if you explain that, but basically the show is about time travel, alternate
Mm,
realities, like breaking down dimensions. This is so weird. It's sci-fi. It's kind of like everything all rolled into
mm.
one. But for me, I was like, I'm hooked, man. I don't
Yeah.
know if you got that same feeling.
Such a interesting premise because
Yeah,
like you've so like you put it across so well. The what it's about, the time travel, the multiverse, all kind of situations that happen in the show. But you know what? Even take that out of it. This is a show that is on the screen. All you get is the sort of the vocal. What do you call it? The vocal diagram or the
yeah,
vocal the description or illustration of a voice, like just
yeah.
in sound. You get these little graphics and stuff like that. But this is the one show on earth on TV that you probably want to watch closing your eyes and
Yes,
listen to the voice, the drama within the voice, because you can then take yourself into that
yeah,
situation. And I don't know what else you can do on earth on any platform where it's advisable, because a lot of these shows that are made are for I don't know what the word is, but able-bodied, people with all their sort of vision, sound, all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. But this is the one show I would think if you were blind, you could watch this show and not miss out on anything
Anything.
that someone else who can see would miss out on.
Yeah,
So this is actually a very diverse show, isn't it? And it's really
huge.
well acted. The voices, they give you everything, all you need.
Everything.
So yeah, it's a good shout actually, good shout. Yeah, this
Yeah,
on Apple TV.
yeah, it's
It's a good
really good.
shout.
And yeah, and like, I mean, Apple TV have got other stuff like Ted Lasso. I'm a huge fan of that. But this one for me was like, I haven't seen anything like this before. I haven't heard anything like this before.
Oh, yeah,
And
true.
huge cast, huge, great voice acting cast, and
Yeah,
like people
yeah.
like Pedro Pascal and like
Mm,
comes to mind and stuff like that.
Mandalorian.
Well, exactly. So listen, look, go check that one out. If you have got the Apple Plus subscription, use it to watch that show because it's definitely worth watching. And listen, look, we've got to speak about Netflix, Deval. I mean,
Mm,
they're behind obviously some of the biggest shows. Um, and look, do you remember the Sandra Bullock TV show from I don't know 2018? It was called
Bird
Bird Box.
Box. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was a huge, like seriously, probably one of the biggest shows on Netflix.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
just in 2021, another show came along called Squid Game, which I think broke all the, um, kind of broke all the records
Yeah.
for the most watched, the number of minutes, the most watched minutes of a TV show. And
Mm,
that's just one highlight. They've had things like obviously Red Notice, which was like a huge hit for
yeah.
them. They've had we'll come to films in a moment, but like they've had other big TV shows. Like for me,
Yeah,
you kind
you.
of told
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
yeah, you told me about
yeah.
that, and we
Money
kind
Heist. They had the one
Money
that was
Heist.
what was the one that had the back in the day, the sort of love one that was on recently. Had the light skinned guy, Ragga, what's his name?
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Ragga, Ragga.
Reggie, was it?
Bridgerton.
Is it Reggie? Reggie?
Something like that. Yeah, he's got a
Yeah.
French kind of name, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like they've got clearly they know like how to kind of like put teams together and put kind of like
Mm,
shows together. They have like big hits. That's not to say they don't flop. They do,
mm.
without a doubt. They do. Cowboy Bebop. They
Bebop.
made one season. They cancelled
Mm.
that one. That's gone.
Shame, shame, shame.
Um, remember there was
Jupiter,
the
Jupiter Ascending, or Jupiter something, Legacy
Jupiter
or
Rising.
something.
Was it something?
Yeah, Jupiter's Legacy, I think it's called, or something like
That's
that.
it.
Yeah, that
That
flopped
was a
after one
flop.
season. Disappointing.
Exactly. So listen, look, you know what they throw their money around, but Netflix definitely,
Mm.
obviously. Now, who do you think takes the edge though, Netflix or Disney, Deval?
I
At the
still
moment,
think
at the moment,
at the moment, at the moment, I still think Netflix has the edge. It's got such diversity in its uh in its listings that you still press that button knowing I'm gonna find something.
yeah,
With Disney Plus, I think for me, unless you are a Marvel head and all that kind of stuff, there isn't much else fresh on there at the
yeah,
moment. I still don't think so. I think Netflix still holds the edge for me. Yeah, so that's just my opinion. Yeah.
yeah. No, no, absolutely, no, I totally agree with that one. Um, Now, in terms of buying power, Disney,
Mm.
man, you can't get bigger than Disney because they
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
like they'll bankroll TV shows and they'll put more stuff out there. So I'm pretty sure they'll definitely have more fresh content. Amazon,
Mm,
yeah, like we said before, The Boys, Invincible, those are two
mm.
kind of big products that they've got out there, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably do more.
User
Um,
interface of Amazon is still a bit dated, you know.
Shit, it's
It's still a
crap.
bit dated. They need to revitalize that. It doesn't. It's not good.
I know,
Mm-mm.
I know.
No.
Um, but like you said, definite value for money on that one.
Yeah.
What is it, like 30, £40 a year? Is it? Is that what it is at the moment?
I actually get free, so I'm not sure.
There was some people living the life, man. So listen, those are some of the kind of TV highlights. And what we want is after you've heard this,
Mm.
like let us know what are your TV highlights of 2021. What are the
Yeah,
movies?
yeah.
What are the TV shows that you liked? What are the ones that you disliked? And remember, man, on the show, if you go back and listen to our podcast, we've spoken about so many different shows. There's just too many to kind of for us to kind of go through right now.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, if there's one particular one that you liked, let us know about it, and we'll definitely speak about it in the next episode. All right, Devout, let's get on to film highlights again.
Mm.
Jeez, man, where do we start with this one? Like, um, let's
I don't
start
know.
with the most recent. Then let's start with the Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. Spider-Man. Yeah, I mean that's literally fresh. It's
Yeah,
literally less than a month old. Spider-Man, like you mentioned at the top of the show, it's done all kinds of records financially. The critics love it. Most people I've spoken to love it. Even some of the worst or harshest critics that I know of love it. So that's saying something. Yeah. So for me, it's one of the best Marvel movies that have been made. For me, it's got its moments of emotion. It's got its it's got those moments in movies that you just are that you never forget. Like when Captain America picked up the hammer and all
yeah,
that,
man.
it's got those moments in it. But it's just a good film from beginning to end. Yeah, some critics will say Spider-Man's a bit silly. He's very clever, but also, like you mentioned, he's actually a kid. So he will
Mm,
have his moments where he just does something a bit silly, which is actually what created the whole film.
yeah,
So we needed that silliness, otherwise the film would have lasted 15 minutes, you know. So,
exactly.
but yeah, no, for me, it's one of the highlights of
Yeah.
2021. We knew it was going to be a good film, but it kind of surpassed our expectations. So
Exactly,
for
because
me,
there's always that.
yeah,
There's always the fear, isn't it? Like you hype up a movie, and obviously it's Spider Man. There's a lot of hype anyway,
mm,
and then you think, right, okay, like we saw Shang Chi, which was great. Great introduction to the character, and
yeah,
then we saw
yeah,
Black Widow again, decent. And then you think, shit, man, like which way is this going to go? Like,
yeah.
will they be able to top the second one? Will they be able to get
Mm,
kind of like, better than the first one? And man, for me, they did it. They absolutely
mm,
topped it. And having the three Spider-Men in this was just kind of like genius. Whoever came
mm.
up with the idea, man, whose idea was it to put them all in the movie?
Great moment, man. Great moments.
So that's
Great
definitely a highlight.
moments. Yeah.
Another one I just got to say is Oscar winner. So
Mm,
early in the year, I think it was like around about February time. I think it was the Oscars, February 2021.
Mm.
Obviously there's Oscar buzz, and like you start hearing about the movies, and then I started hearing about this movie called Nomadland. It won the Oscar, and I was like, okay, I want to kind of give this movie a try out. It's directed by Chloe Zhao, who
Yeah.
directed Eternals. And you know what, right? I wasn't expecting anything. I Frances McDormand, I think she's a great actress. She's been in Fargo, which I love that movie, and she's been in
Mm,
Three
mm.
Burials Outside.
She likes indie films, isn't it? She likes to. She's a bit of an indie person.
Exactly.
Three billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Long
That's it.
title, good film.
Long title. She won an Oscar for that
Yeah,
as well. She's a really great actor and everything. And
yeah.
I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. And listen, look, I wasn't expecting anything, but honestly, deep down, I remember the feeling that I had watching them. I watched the movie, and then it was maybe about a week ago later. I still kept on replaying kind of moments of the
Yeah,
film,
yeah,
and that's when a movie
yeah.
is good.
You're right.
and
You're right.
um and there's been loads of movies like that. you know
Mm.
um I can remember Sound of Metal. That was another
Oh
movie
yeah,
for
yeah,
me, which
yeah,
was
yeah,
really great.
yeah. I think I mentioned with this one. This one for me, I didn't know because I think a second ago we talked about calls and watching it with your eyes closed. I think there could be something in that in the future in watching movies in a certain state. Because
Yeah.
with this movie, Nomadland, I watched it first thing on a Sunday morning with an empty stomach, and
Okay.
it kind of lent to the feeling of feeling sort of detached, desolate, feeling a
Yeah.
bit empty, feeling all the emotions that she went through in the movie because she had no fixed abode. She was
Nothing.
struggling. It's like she wasn't feeling, you know, what's the word? She wasn't feeling really like whole.
Yeah.
She was always searching for something. And I think watching it with an empty stomach, first thing in the morning, I kind of felt that I wasn't
Yeah.
whole myself. So I think there could be something, in that watching movies in a certain state of a
Absolutely.
physicalness. So yeah, that for
Absolutely.
me really added to the experience. I really like the
Yeah.
film.
And
Mm.
what's your idea on her being Chloe Zhao? She kind of directed that movie,
Yeah,
a kind of a
that's her.
muted movie.
That's her. That's
And
her
then,
lane for me.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then
Eternals wasn't her lane. No,
absolutely.
Eternals wasn't her lane.
But seriously, and then she goes on to make one of the biggest movies of
Mm.
2021, which is The Eternals. I just didn't see it, man.
Didn't deliver. Didn't deliver. It's like the postman or woman didn't find your house, and your package is now floating in between the limbo. It just didn't deliver. But yeah,
Absolutely.
and Nomadland is good. I mean, they even made all the actors in that one use their real names, all their
Yes.
first names. It's something so different. They use actual nomads as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, Eternals didn't deliver. It was hit and miss, mostly
Yeah.
miss for a lot of people. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. 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 No, I totally agree with you. And like, and obviously that's kind of like discussion for another episode. But
mm,
like in terms of the highlights, yeah, Nomadland, that was a one that I can think of. Another one that comes to mind is I watched it recently was The Harder They Fall. Now,
mm.
I know you don't like westerns,
Nope.
um, but I gotta say, man, I've got a soft spot for westerns. There's something about the life, the way that kind of life was like in those days in the
Mm,
1800s and everything, and like the grittiness, the rawness of it. The landscape is kind of like unforgiving, and then when this movie
okay.
comes along, where it's an all black cast, it's got some
Mm.
great acting, like, Regina King, it's got like,
Ooh,
Lakeith
Regina.
Stanfield,
Yeah.
Idris Elba, London Boy. And like, it's just like, I just thought it was brilliant. It's like vibrant, colorful. And a lot of people will kind of, they'll say, oh, it's just a clone or it's just a knockoff of a Tarantino movie. But I think that's
Mm.
kind of doing it a really big disservice, man. So for me, it being a Netflix movie, I watched it on the small screen, but I reckon this would have been a great big screen
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it was released in some areas on the big screen, in limited release. So some people got it, some people didn't. But
Yeah,
either way, you're right. I watched this film on Netflix at home. My screen's quite big, and the sound's quite good. So
yeah,
the soundtrack and the score. I think really went a long way as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
you know what? So far, everyone I know that's watched this film has really liked it. I don't like
yeah,
westerns, but I really enjoyed this. So
yeah,
for me, definite highlight.
yeah, definitely highlight. Yeah, so man, what about you? What other ones do you reckon that come to mind?
Gordon Bennett. What other ones come to mind? Oh, there's well, I did like Unforgivable on Netflix.
Mm,
I did like the Unforgivable with Sandra Bullock. It was quite a sad movie.
yeah.
Quite. Have you seen it yet?
No, I've not
No,
seen
you
it.
haven't.
No.
Okay, I don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, there's a good twist. Good cast. Sandra Bullock. We got Punisher. He's in it.
Is
John
it
Berth.
Berthnell?
What's
Berthel? I always
Berthnell?
get his
Yeah,
name wrong. Yeah.
me too. We had what's her name in it as well? From How to Get Away with Murder. We had
Viola.
Violet Davis. Yes, Violet Davis is in it, and also we had uh, what's his name? My mind's gone blank today. I don't know what's going on. Is it the start of the new year or something?
Maybe.
But we had the Kingpin. The Kingpin was in this too.
Oh
Uh,
shit.
yeah, so
Vincent.
quite a good, yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio. Yeah, it's a quite a good cast. Good movie. Just literally about Sandra Bullock and uh, a real big life trauma happens when they were young, and then because of that life trauma, she goes to prison for like 20 years, and she comes out. She's trying to find her life again, and it is so difficult trying to
Yeah.
get back on track. And she doesn't fully open up about what this life trauma was and what happened, and you find out later on. It's just, oh man, it
Is
just
it?
spins you on your head. It's a good film. It's a
Yeah.
good film. So yeah,
Okay.
that's a highlight for me.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. Another one for me is Judas and the Black Messiah. I thought that was
Oh
great.
yeah, that was
Um,
this year. Yeah, shit, this year.
I know
Damn.
it's been mad. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
Trial of the Chicago Seven. That was a great one.
I haven't
Stand
seen
up for
it.
highlight for me as well.
I haven't seen that
Um,
one.
yeah, man. There's just been so many movies, and I
Mm,
was looking back at all the movies that I this year though, because of obviously COVID, they weren't like
mm.
I didn't go to the cinema as much as I did in 2020, if I'm being honest.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But like, kind of out of all those, yeah. The funny thing is, it's been kind of like on the small screen is where I've kind of had those moments where I've be able to kind of get in to kind
Mm,
of the movies and watch my film, because I like put my headphones on when I watch the movie and you get the sound, you get really immersed into it and stuff like that. I think that
mm.
really helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are some of the kind of highlights, and I'm pretty sure there's hundreds more. But again, I'll throw this out to our listeners. What have been your highlights, your movie highlights? you know have there been some really great ones that you've seen in cinema? What are the shit ones? Matrix Resurrections was a low one for me. Deval.
Gosh, you don't get much lower than that. That was lower than a snake's belly. I'm telling you, that one
Trust me,
there,
man.
that one there was just. My expectations were low, and this was even lower. It's
Below
just
that.
there's no need for it. No, I feel bad for Keanu Reeves because he just has
That's a
to.
stain.
Once he's signed up for it, he's like a Lannister. He always pays his debts. He's always going to see it through. But it's just, oh man, the
It
film was
is.
rubbish, man.
It's really bad. Seriously,
Film.
if you're not planning on watching the movie, go listen to our podcast. We kind of go into it on last week's episode,
Mm,
which you might find funny. Yeah. So again, let us know. What you watched in
yeah.
2021. What were the highlights? What were the lowlights? Get in touch with us. Let us know. And listen, look. We think it's only proper that we
Mm.
end this episode with what's to come in 2022, like this year. What can we look forward to? So Deval, let us know. Remind everyone, or remind me again, what can we look forward to in 2022?
So I could sort of quickly reel through some of them. I won't go into any sort of major detail, but
Yeah.
yeah, one of the highlights or things that are coming out in 2022 that I'm really looking forward to. I'll start off with the Marvel slate. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness coming out in May. We've got Thor: Love and Thunder coming out in, I believe that one's July next year, or this year, I should say now.
Mm.
Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, coming out in November this year. Obviously, there's no Chadwick Boseman, so we're going to see how they're going to obviously continue his legacy, but also the
Yeah.
legacy of the characters in the movie as well. and see how that turns out. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 in
Coming out in
October.
April.
It's April.
Oh shit! No, is it October? Oh shit! Oh yeah,
I think
you
it's
might be
October,
right.
yeah, October, yeah.
October,
So
yeah,
that's coming out this year. So that's going to be really, really good. Spider Verse, the first one that came out was an excellent
yeah.
animation movie. So that's all the even before then we got Michael Morbius. That's coming out in January, so that's really soon.
Oh,
But
that's going to be a
that
couple of
one
weeks' time,
there,
is it?
I'm not really too sure how that's going to turn out, but we'll have to wait and see. But the ones I've just mentioned, those are the real big
The big
highlights for
ones.
me, anyway, in the
Yeah,
Marvel world. And
agreed.
I haven't even mentioned the TV shows on Disney Plus. We're going to see some crazy shit. Kamala Khan's going to come out. We're going to
Yeah,
see
man.
She-Hulk. We're going to see Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight comes out first. So, oh man, it's
It's
looking
great.
good for Marvel.
So look, you just mentioned one, two, three. So that's three big movies for Marvel this
Mm,
year, and then three TV shows. So
yeah,
we're pretty much covered this year for Marvel.
covered, covered, covered.
All right, now, folks, let's move over to DC because DC are going to have a big year. So
Yeah.
listen, here we go. Let me just say this: the Batman, Black Adam, The
Mm,
Flash,
mm,
Aquaman 2.
mm,
I mean, Devout, that slate of movies, if you are a DC fan, if you are a big DC fan,
mm.
you're going to be wetting your pants.
Yeah.
And listen, you and I, we saw the trailer. Listen, when we heard the news that Robert Pattinson,
Mm,
the guy from Twilight movies, he was going to be playing the Batman, we kind of were scratching our heads a little bit.
yeah.
And we were like, okay, look, we'll see how it goes. We're not going to cuss it just yet. Let's just see how it goes. Then they released the teaser trailer in like earlier on in 2021. And we were like, okay, this kind of looks, there's a bit in there where one of the villains or one guy, a goon, turns around and says, like, what are you? And he's like, I'm vengeance. And I
Mm.
was like, okay, now we're
Crazy,
in for a ride. We're in for a ride.
crazy. The
I mean,
latest trailer for the Batman looks really good as well. It
yes.
does look good. I ain't gonna lie, it looks good. So, mate,
We'll see how this goes. Black Adam, Deval, what can you
mm,
tell us about Black Adam?
Black Adam's gonna look. That looks decent. The little trailer that we saw, a teaser, looks great. They're holding back on this one.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna hit us with a real trailer soon. That the Rock doesn't put his effort into things that don't work out. The Rock, he doesn't need any special effects, no padded suit. This
no,
guy is ready.
yes,
Black Adam's gonna just flip the DC world on its head. That's
yeah.
what he said. So I believe him. That's gonna be decent. That's coming out in July. So
Mm.
looking good for that one as well.
And like, if you're worried about obviously Marvel getting all the multiverse fun, listen, the Flash, they are gonna deal with the multiverse because
Mm,
this movie is not only you're gonna have the Flash, meeting other Flashes, but he's gonna be meeting other Batmen as well. So
yep.
there's Ben Affleck's going to come back and Michael Keaton's coming
Keaton.
back. So that's big, man, for DC.
Big, and also we're going to get Supergirl as well. Her first
Yes.
appearance in the Flash movie, so this one's going to be crazy. This is, I mean, Marvel have opened up the multiversal realms. People's
Yeah.
minds are in tune. They understand it. They accept it. DC are now following suit and giving us more multiversal madness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I can't
yeah,
wait. I can't wait. Seriously, it's going to be great. And listen, look, Aquaman, um, it's been a while since we've heard anything about Arthur Curry, man. So what's going on
yeah.
here?
Yeah, so the first one was 2018. It done really, really well for DC.
Yeah.
Done better than Justice League. I think it took just under a billion or just over a billion. So Jason Momoa, Carl Drogo, it looks like, it's funny how his characters, I mean, his first character, well, not first, one of his biggest characters, Carl Drogo. Remember the Dothraki? They do not cross the narrow sea. They're
Yeah.
scared of the water. And
Yeah.
now he's a
Now look at him.
character who is in the water and is like the
Trust me. Yeah.
king of the water. So it's mad
Yeah.
how things turn out. But yeah, this one's going to come out late one in the year. Aquaman 2 is looking good. Black Manta,
Black
he's
Panther.
gonna yeah he's gonna be in this as well. He's Yahya Mateen
Abdul.
the
Yeah.
second. Abdul
I
Yahya
hope
is in
they
this
I
as
hope they change his suit, man. Come on.
yeah they should do they should do they should do they should
Yeah.
do.
So
But
it's
yeah,
a big
this
year.
should be
It's
all
going to
right.
be a big
Mm,
year for DC, right? So a big year
yeah,
for Marvel, big year for DC. I feel like as if they're going to be competing, with each other. But I mean, for
yeah,
me, obviously, Marvel, man, It's going to be great what we see there. But listen, let's go over to kind of prehistoric times, Jurassic World Dominion. So, it's been a while since we've heard anything about Jurassic World, but this picks up after the last one where the creatures were in Las Vegas, was it?
Yeah, I think you're right. They were somewhere around is it Arizona? Is that the state? Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were let loose after some craziness that happened in Fallen Kingdom. Wong, is it Wong? The scientist?
Yeah, DB Wong. Is it
DB
DB
Wong,
Wong?
yeah.
Yeah,
He was up to naughtiness, and the dinosaurs are gone free now. Yeah, they're roaming the city.
yeah.
So we'll see what happens,
Exactly. That's going to be another big movie for
Yep.
2022. And listen, look, we got to mention this because obviously the hype is going to start building up around this, I reckon. But Avatar Part 2. And the reason why I bring this up, Deval, is because it's been such a long time since Avatar, since we've seen it. And listen, I just want to remind everyone, Avatar just recently, like at the end of 2021, I think, or something, it was re-released in China, which then pushed it back up to the biggest movie of all time. So Avatar holds the record, right, for the biggest movie of all time. James Cameron's behind it, and he's been working on parts 2, 3, 4, and 5 or something like that. So every couple of years, for the next 5 or 6 years, we're going to be getting an Avatar movie. It's crazy, isn't it, Deval?
Crazy. I wonder if they'll still have the same sort of 3D technology, because 3D movies haven't really been a thing recently. So the technology didn't really kick off like they thought. This one, Avatar in the cinema, was like a crazy piece of technology. 3D was the way to see it. And James Cameron, he's that kind of guy. He'll rather wait for technology to catch up before he actually unveils his ideas. So this one, I mean, you know what? My expectations are low, so hopefully I won't be disappointed. So let's see what happens with this one.
Let's see what happens with that one. And look, again, folks, let us know what movies you're excited to see. And trust me, there's just so many movies that we basically haven't even spoken about. But keep it locked with the Flixters, and I promise you, I guarantee you, in 2022, Deval and I, we will be speaking about movies, TV shows, film news, you name it. We're going to be bringing it. Keep it locked with us. And once again, thank you for listening to us and joining us. And we hope you continue doing so. That's it, Deval. I'm out.
Yeah, that's it. Happy New Year, guys.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Just pop in the Flixters podcast.